The wait is finally over. The Premier League is back. And what better way to begin the Premier League than beginning with the champions? Arsenal begin their title defense at the Emirates Stadium against the newly promoted side Coventry City. And on paper, this is going to be one of a straightforward game for Mikel Arteta's side. But we know that football is not played on paper. Coventry are back in the Premier League for the first time in 25 years, and then with Frank Lampard leading the charge for them, this campaign is definitely going to be an interesting campaign for Coventry, who were last season's championship champions. They have shown during their Champions League campaign that they are a force to be reckoned with. Can they replicate that in the Premier League? That is what we expect to see on Friday, where the Premier League begins. Can Coventry produce an opening day shock, or will Arsenal immediately remind everybody why they are champions? You know, the Gunners come into this game with plenty of confidence and momentum after beating Manchester City 3-0 in the Community Shield. And perhaps more importantly, Mikel Arteta has some major valuable players back. The likes of Declan Rice, Bukayo Saka, Martin Zubimendi have all been confirmed available after their extended World Cup breaks. So there are, however, defensive concerns with the likes of William Saliba expected to still remain outside with the injury he suffered during the World Cup campaign, while the likes of Jorin Timber is still recovering from his growing problem. Arsenal have also strengthened their squad this summer. And the interesting question now would be how many of those new players Arteta can trust from the start. We have Arsenal with the likes of Victor Gyökeres, Bruno Guimaraes, Eberechi Eze, Christos, Zolis, and Noni Madueke give Arsenal significant more attacking and midfield options. We look at the key players for Arsenal going into this game. We have I would definitely want to keep my eye on Bukayo Saka for Arsenal. If Coventry allow Saka to receive the ball on a 1v1 an attack their fullback repeatedly, he could definitely become a very big problem, and the visitors will definitely feel very uncomfortable. They are going into this game. We all know that Coventry City are actually the underdogs of this very game. But let us not write them off. Frank Lampard's side won the championship last season, and they've aimed their return into the Premier League after a 25 years wait. Their preseason, however, has also been encouraging. After losing 3-2 to AFC Wimbledon, they went ahead to draw goalless Northampton, but then they beat Espanyol 3-1 in the final preseason fixture for them. Well, the problem is that their biggest attacking weapon won't be available. Haji Wright, who scored 17 championship goals for Coventry City last season, is expected to miss at least 3 months with a quad injury. That is a very huge blow against the defending champions of the Premier League. But however, Coventry have invested heavily this summer with a club record deal for midfielder Caleb Yerikeyi, while also bringing in players like Taiwo Awoniyi and Sadiq Sherif. So for Coventry, the key players we would want to look at are, I'll be going for Efron Marcin Clark. They need someone capable of carrying the ball, winning fouls, and also giving Arsenal's defenders something to think about. Because if Coventry simply sits deep for 90 minutes, Arsenal will eventually find a way to break them. Well, if we're looking at head-to-head statistics from both sides, you see history favors Arsenal very well. These two clubs have met 76 times in all competitions, and Arsenal have won 43 of those fixtures, while Coventry has won 14, and there have been 19 stalemates between both clubs. So Coventry are not exactly walking into Emirates Stadiums as with a favorable historical record. And also, there is another problem going into this game for Coventry. We see that last season Arsenal conceded just 27 Premier League goals while keeping 19 clean sheets. This tells us that Coventry are definitely up against a rock at the back with Arsenal's defense. So the game is definitely going to be won with tactical battle. And for me, if we're talking about tactics for both manager, the question is how long can Coventry defend or survive without the ball? Arsenal will probably dominate possession, push their fullbacks forwards, and try to pin Coventry deep in the middle. And that would definitely put an enormous responsibility or pressure on Frank Lampard's midfield. So Coventry need to remain compact, but they also need an outlet that will definitely be able to win the ball back for them. Because if Arsenal win the ball back immediately after losing it, Coventry could spend the entire match defending their very game. Lampard therefore needs a disciplined defensive block and quick transitions. Arsenal, meanwhile, will want to stretch Coventry horizontally, create those 1v1 situations for Saka and other attacking players. So while we are looking at Bukayo Saka as the standout man for Arsenal, we also will not forget the likes of Victor Gyökeres. He's another player that is extremely very good to watch. The striker will definitely be expected to convert Arsenal's territorial dominance going into this game. For Coventry, we also look at the likes of Jack Rudney. Rudney is a player that could help the team, Coventry City, to be able to transit from defense to attack without stress. If he can get into spaces behind Arsenal's midfield, he could definitely give Gunners something to think of. Could Coventry shock Arsenal? Absolutely, you can't rule out in the Premier League. We've always seen surprises in the Premier League. Well, this is the first game of the season. Players are not actually completely settled. Promoted teams can sometimes play with nothing to lose. But I'm struggling to see beyond an Arsenal victory here. So my prediction, I'm going Arsenal 3, Coventry 0. So I think Arsenal will dominate possession. I think they will create chances and they will eventually break Coventry down. So I'm going for Arsenal 3, Coventry 0. Well, I also want to put myself on the neck and I expect Arsenal to score in both halves with Victor Gyökeres getting his Premier League goal of the season tomorrow night. That is what I am hoping. Well, I'm also predicting that Coventry will definitely give Arsenal a difficult night trying to escape the press, but at the end of the day, Arsenal will definitely come out tops. The champions will begin their title defense against a newly promoted Coventry side returning to the Premier League after 25 years. Well, on paper, Arsenal are overwhelmingly favourites, but you know what football brings to us. Football tells us a very different language. Can Frank Lampard produce one of the biggest opening day shocks? Or will Arsenal make an immediate statement in their title defense? Well, I'm going for Arsenal 3, Coventry 0. I want to hear yours. What is your score prediction? Drop it in the comment section. Let's see who gets it right. Don't forget to like and follow Football on the Street. Turn on the notification bell so that you always get all the latest information and football analysis from us. The Premier League is back. Let's get into it. Enjoy the beautiful game.